Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk to you about the difference between a certified nurse midwife and a women's health nurse practitioner. I get this question all the time because these two professions are so much alike but yet so different. I'm not even gonna lie, when I first did my research or I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, I had a hard time trying to understand exactly what was the difference other than one main point. A certified nurse midwife, or CNM, or a women's health nurse practitioner, a WHNP, are both advanced practice registered nurses, APRNs. So APRNs are registered nurses who have attained their master's degree. Now, both of these professions are trained or educated to specialize in the care of women throughout the lifespan. Although their roles and responsibilities can overlap, they do have a distinct scope of practice. So they both practice in the clinical setting, and they provide services to women such as health promotion, disease prevention, prenatal care, GYN care, overall health and wellness, postpartum care, and education. So you might be saying to yourself, you're basically describing two different professions, but they're doing the exact same thing. So WHNPs tend to specialize in GYN care and primary care of the woman. They treat acute and chronic disorders. Now, certified nurse midwives can do the same, but they have the additional responsibility of managing women throughout labor and childbirth. They also have the responsibility of caring for the newborn up to 28 days of life. Okay, on to the education portion of it. Now, the duties of a certified nurse midwife and a women's health nurse practitioner overlap so much that most universities now are either combining both the women's health nurse practitioner program and the certified nurse midwifery program, or allowing you to obtain a postmaster certificate in one of the specialties. So, essentially, when you're in school to become either of the professionals, you'll be essentially taking the same courses, with the difference that a WHNP program or coursework is more heavy on the primary care. They'll focus on more contemporary issues of like women's health and or complications. The midwifery program will focus more on the birthing process and newborn care. So you might ask me how this whole postmaster's thing works. So what happens is, if you are enrolled in a certified nurse midwife program, upon graduation, you can return to obtain a postmaster certificate, which is in a sense a whole nother master's degree. But you don't have to do any additional coursework. The additional work comes in with clinical coursework, where you would do more clinical hours, heavy on the primary care, heavy on the GYN. Now, opposite that, if you're in school for a women's health nurse practitioner and you have to go back to school for a certified nurse midwifery program, you would have to take additional coursework because you need that birthing process class, you need the newborn care class, and then you also need additional clinical hours to practice those things. So simply put, the WHNP's coursework is inside of the certified nurse midwifery program. I don't know if I'm actually explaining that well, but either who, at the end of it, you do both. You have to sit for a certifying board exam. So you can think of this board exam in the same way that you think of the NCLEX. I hear is not as difficult as the NCLEX, but I haven't taken I haven't gotten that far yet. So when I do, I'll be able to compare the two and give you a more detailed review of it. I'm quite sure it's more easier in the sense as it's more specialized, but I don't know yet. So don't take my word on that. Let's see, what else can I tell you? So you might be saying to yourself that these two professions are so closely related that they overlap in their roles and responsibilities. What's the difference between the two, and how should you choose between them, if you should choose between them? Well, okay, let's talk about practice settings. They're able to both work in hospitals, clinics, private practices, health departments, and additionally, a certified nurse midwife can work in a birth center, and they can also perform home births. Okay, so job demand. Let me actually read this to you. I got this information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the demand for CNMs will increase by 25% by the year 2024. And the WHMP's position will be expected to increase by 35% by the year 2024. So that is right up my alley. The job demand will increase, which means hopefully I will be able to find a job. It does depend on where you live. So you might want to do some research in your area to see which where the job demand increases for either of those two positions or professionals, if that's something that you're interested in. So let's talk a little bit about salary, which is a major plus. It's not the most important thing, but it is a major plus. So again, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, a CNM in the United States makes a median annual salary of $95,510 and the average salary of $93,610. A WHMP can make a mean salary of $98,190 and an annual salary of $101,260. So again, very lucrative professions, right? But of course, this does depend on the area in which you live. The amount can change. So don't quote me, or don't look for a job and come back and say, hey, you said. It all depends on your area across the country. Okay, so with all that being said, you might ask yourself, how do I choose between the two? It's simple. Do you or do you not want to birth babies? Essentially, the job description is the same except for birthing babies and taking care of newborns. You have the same job demand, almost the same salary, to the core, the same job description. Now, don't get me wrong, you can be a certified nurse midwife and not birth babies. You can be the primary care provider or do just GYN or just office things. Catching babies is a bonus. Now, here's the kicker. You don't have to choose between the two. You can choose both, and that's what I decided to do. So why did I choose to do both? Because I'm not necessarily sure in which area I'm going to be practicing in. And depending on where you are across the country, people still have the stigma of nurse midwifery. So I don't want to put myself in a box and not be able to get a job. Although both, like I said, both professions are very, very similar. Some people just prefer the term nurse practitioner as opposed to midwife, and that's something that midwives and future nurse midwives have to fight against, to remove that stigma and to show that we are a competent professional. We are, in a sense, a nurse practitioner with additional roles. Okay, so that brings me to the end of the video. I hope I was able to adequately describe the differences and similarities of both professions. I hope you learned some valuable information. So before you go, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me some thumbs up if you like these type of videos. I do have a playlist of my school updates, so you can get a feel for the type of classes or coursework that I've been taking while I've been in school. You can leave comments below if you have any additional questions that I can answer for you. And you can reach me as well on my Snapchat or my Instagram. So until next time, smooches.